Space, the final frontier is. Hello everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Joel Maffio, and today's featured movie is Star Trek Beyond! This one's directed by Justin Lin, who has previously directed quite a few Fast and Furious films. It stars the same good old cast from the rebooted films we all know and love: Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Simon Pegg, John Cho, the late Anton Yelchin. Shitty. I'll get to that later. And newcomer, but veteran actor, Idris Elba playing the antagonist. The story is about our Enterprise crew, who are about 3 years into their 5-year mission, as stated from the last movie, Into Darkness. And Kirk's having some issues with the leadership role. It's having a lot of emotional weight on him, and he doesn't know if he wants to do this anymore, if he's right for the role anymore. He's just celebrating his birthday, but he's a year older than his father was when he passed away. So he's having a lot of thoughts about his dad and all. And just when things starting to get a little somber and crazy, shit goes down as the alien species led by Idris Elba attacks the ship, destroys the ship pretty much, and leaves the whole crew separated and recklessly abandoned on their home planet. So now the remaining members of the crew have to band together, find each other, and find a way to defeat their enemy as a team. I didn't expect to really like this movie. I, for some reason, was turned off by the first trailer with the Beastie Boys, even though Beastie Boys is a thing in the Star Trek universe now. And I loved the Star Trek reboot from 2009. I really enjoyed Into Darkness. I don't really care what people have to say about Into Darkness. It's a lesser movie than the original reboot from 2009, yes, but it's still a good movie in my opinion. This one, though, kind of blew me away. I really loved Star Trek Beyond. It really is the most Trekky movie in these new films so far. The story is very cohesive. The characters are well realized, and all the personalities shine. There's a really big emphasis on the team, the togetherness, the whole idea of this crew needing each other to survive. And it's very endearing to a point where it can be very emotional, and if you are invested in these characters, you will be swept up in the story so much. And I almost cried a couple times watching this movie. There's no real scene or two that is meant to push and pull on your emotional heartstrings. It's just seeing these characters interact with each other when we've been invested in them since 2009, and for many people who have been invested with Star Trek since the 60s, it's just really fascinating to see all these characters coming together and doing their thing, because the whole movie is about them being separated and the adversities that creates, and seeing them slowly but surely come together to defeat this enemy. It's really simple, but it really works. And on top of that, gorgeous visuals, incredible music by Michael Giacchino, a story that you can get behind, and characters who are just a lot of fun to watch interact with each other. And you have a movie that really, really hits hard. For some odd reason, I was skeptical about Justin Lin taking the helm from J.J. Abrams to direct this film, but in the end of the day, he did a really good job. And Simon Pegg and his co-writer wrote the script, and they wrote a solid script. Simon Pegg's a fan of Star Trek, and you could see it here because the dialogue really shines through. And again, as I mentioned before, this movie is the most Trekky yet. All the references to gadgets and the lore and the actual things that they use, when they're on the bridge and they have to press the buttons and stuff. The details, the fine details and everything that they're doing and everything that they're utilizing, it really, really pulls through, and you could tell that they made sure that the details were right and everything felt authentic for Star Trek. But when it comes down to it, this movie's about the characters. And let me get to it really quick. Anton Yelchin, he passed away way too soon. And I watching the movie, he has a pretty good amount of screen time in this movie because he's with Kirk for most of it. But it's just weird watching him and knowing he's passed away. It doesn't make sense to me that he's dead. It doesn't. But he was a really talented actor, and I can't. Rest in peace, brother. I can't. I can't comprehend it. Moving on from that, Spock and Bones, played respectively by Zachary Quinto and Carl Urban, have the coolest and most incredibly fun dynamic in this movie. Their personalities like bounce off each other like magnets, but it creates for some really fun tension and dialogue scenarios, and it's the most memorable part of the movie, in my opinion, when it comes to the characters.
You guys break up? What'd you do?
A typically reductive inquiry, Doctor.
You know, Spock, if an Earth girl says it's me, not you, it's definitely you.
We have a new character, Jayla, too, comes onto the scene, and I didn't expect to have much from her, but she really, really is fleshed out, her character, and she's badass. She actually holds her own very well, and she's also a lot of fun to watch. Idris Elba, who plays the antagonist, the villain of the picture, seems like a very typical villain at first, but there is more to him than meets the eye. There is, and what is more to him than meets the eye is actually really interesting, to say the least. But overall, though, Star Trek Beyond is probably one of the biggest mainstream surprises I've had this year and this summer. It's probably right behind Civil War for me, but I think this movie might be the biggest surprise of them all. I wasn't expecting to like this one, but the music is great, the characters are incredible, the movie looks gorgeous like these Star Trek movies always do, and at the end of the day, it's just a lot of fun to watch, and it's the most fun I've had at the movies this year, besides Civil War. I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's mafadociously darn good. If you enjoyed the Star Trek movies that have been coming out the last few years, you have to check this one out. But now I want to know from you guys. Let's see. What did you think of Star Trek Beyond? Let me know in the comments down below. I have strep throat right now. I don't know how I'm doing this. Probably shouldn't be doing this. Oh well, fuck it. Like this video if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want. Check out my social medias in the info box if you want. And that's it. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones, and I'll see you guys next time. Film The Final Frontier. Until holograms. No!